I'm Jonathon Riall. I'm the team leader for the Triathlon England team competing at Birmingham 2022.
So obviously be a home games next year. What do you think that means for athletes and coaches to be competing on this international stage in front of a home crowd with home soil?
Yeah, I mean, it's such an enormous opportunity. I mean, by the time we get to Birmingham, it'll have been 10 years since the London Games. And I think everybody carries incredibly fond memories of what it's like to just elevate everything, elevate your role, elevate the performances of athletes. And obviously it'll be 20 years since the last Commonwealth Games were in England as well. So it's certainly what attracted me to take on this role, and knowing the conversations I've had with coaches, both coaches who will be accredited and supporting the team in Birmingham, but also the wider team of coaches within the centres and programmes. It's always special being able to get to prepare, hopefully have a bit of home advantage, and go and deliver in pretty much what's our kind of back garden really.
And with 1 year to go, what are the key milestones in the build-up over the coming 12 months?
Yeah, we've got some really clear kind of selection milestones. So selection will happen over 3 key periods. So at the end of this competing season, so November, there's a really critical milestone for our Olympic athletes who have the opportunity to go through automatic qualification. We then have, sort of almost chronologically, then in March, the opportunity for our visually impaired athletes to be selected for the team when their qualification period ends in March. And then we move forward to the June of 2022, which is then for any of the remaining places in the Olympic team, for them to gain kind of those final places going into games time, which will only then be sort of a couple of months later down the line. So qualification wise, there's some really clear goals, but I think just wider in terms of team prep, this year is incredibly busy. There's a lot of focus on obviously Olympic Games and Paralympic Games from both an athlete and a staff point of view. And my hope is we can get towards the autumn and certainly into then the spring of 22 and really start to build a bit of momentum around what it means to be part of an England team. So things like bringing Olympic and Paralympic athletes together, potential for some small camps, and just really building the focus towards hopefully the milestone for most people's commies next year.
And you mentioned visually impaired athletes. What do you think it means for the sport to bring triathlon and paratriathlon together in a single team for the Commonwealth Games?
Yeah, I mean, it's often referred to like as a wonderful opportunity for para-athletes to get to link in with their kind of able-bodied or non-disabled competitors, but to be honest, when I've seen it in motion, it means as much to both people, because I think it just gives everyone a recognition of something that they don't necessarily get to see in their day-to-day. So whether it be the level of training or performance standards by a multi-Olympic medalist, or whether it be just the day-to-day kind of challenges that a visually impaired athlete will work around to still deliver the quality of training, the quality of racing that they deliver. So for me, it's what the sport should do. It's what triathlon has always done incredibly well in the time that I've been here. So it would have been nice to have had more para categories in Birmingham. We obviously had one in the Gold Coast with the wheelchair athletes, and we've got one in Birmingham with the visually impaired athletes. I think it would be a great goal to build on that in the future. But similarly, we will have a very strong team of VI athletes, and I think to bring that together, both in a staff sense and an athlete sense, will hopefully just make the event more special, the experience for everyone who's gone really.
And for you as team leader, what are your hopes for next year and kind of the impact it'll have beyond the games themselves?
Yeah, I think I find myself having to say, like, the level of performance that we will expect will of course be really high. Like, England has by far the best track record in terms of performances. We won both of the medals in the debut for the wheelchair athletes in the Gold Coast. We've got a rich history of gold medals and various other colour medals when it comes to the non-disabled athletes, and we will want to repeat that. And I think when you look at the team of athletes who have fought out to try and gain Olympic slots, we've got an astonishing team. When you then look at athletes like Dave Ellis going into the qualification period, having won Leeds as an example, I think we're in a fantastic opportunity to build a really strong team. But I think from my perspective and the background that I bring to this role, really, it's always meant a lot to me to try and deliver that team in a way which just helps the sport. As soon as we step off the back of it, we'll come off the back of it and we'll be a British team again. So the way that we engage with our coaches, the way we engage with the local community, whether that's local triathlon clubs or people who don't do the sport yet, like all of those things, I think are things we have to acknowledge as our responsibility as the home team in Birmingham. So yeah, I think we've got some amazing opportunities, both in potential medals we can win, but also how we go about winning those medals to help the sport to continue to thrive, really, both in Birmingham and wider in Britain.
Thank you for your time. Good luck with the coming 12 months.
Thank you very much.